Welcome back, listeners. Today we're diving into the fascinating and often overlooked dynamics of everyday conversation. It's easy to forget just how significant our words are. Each phrase we use, from "what's your name" to "it's my treat," is like a tiny seed that can evolve into something extraordinary when nurtured properly.
That's super interesting. So you're saying these little phrases can really change the course of a conversation or even a relationship? Like, wow.
Exactly. Think about it. When you invite someone by saying, "let's eat together," you're not just asking to share a meal, you're offering a connection. It's like saying, "Hey, I value your company." Even something as simple as, "how are you?" can open up a treasure chest of emotions and concerns.
Right. It's like, when I ask my friends how they're doing, sometimes they just, pour their hearts out, and other times it's just like, "I'm good," and that's it. So, what's the science behind how we use those phrases? Is there something more to it?
Fantastic question. It all comes down to the art of sociolinguistics. Research shows that small talk, those seemingly mundane phrases, actually builds rapport and trust. Imagine this. You're at a party. You wouldn't dive into a debate about the meaning of life right off the bat, right? You start light, maybe asking, "Did you try the pizza?" before cutting into the deeper stuff.
Haha. Oh man, I can totally picture that. Like, "So do you think the universe is expanding?" while munching on pepperoni? But do you think there's a risk of overanalyzing these phrases? Like, could we get too caught up in semantics that we forget to just talk?
Absolutely. At its core, communication is about connection. If you break down every word, it's like trying to dissect a flower. You might lose the beauty of it. Yet, understanding those nuances helps us hone our communication skills. It's a delicate balance, like a tightrope walker maintaining grace while being intentional.
Yeah. I love that analogy. Speaking of flowers, I heard someone say "turn left here" while driving the other day. And I was like, what if we could literally use conversational cues for navigation in life? Like, "Oh, just a second," could mean to take a breather before a big decision, right?
Haha, that's a brilliant connection. Life is indeed a journey, and those phrases guide us through it, like GPS coordinates guiding us on the road. And consider how much a phrase like, "call me later," can signal. It speaks of openness, an ongoing dialogue.
Wow. So these phrases, they're kind of like breadcrumbs on the path of conversation. What about when someone says, "I don't know"? Isn't that tricky? Like, do they want to shut down or just need space to think?
Great point. "I don't know" can be incredibly powerful. It can mean so many different things. It's almost an invitation for further exploration. Think of a child in a toy store faced with 100 options. It's overwhelming, but in a safe environment, they'll slowly identify what they want, similar to how conversations unfold.
That's fascinating. It's like peeling back layers, right? I mean, it reminds me of my dog. He'll just stare at his toys and not know which one to choose until I point one out. Do you think our environment changes how we perceive these phrases too?
Definitely. Context is what adds color to our conversations. If you're in a warm, cozy cafe, a phrase might feel warm and comforting. Yet in a cold, sterile environment, like a doctor's office, the same words might seem distant. It's all about the ambiance.
Wow. So our surroundings shape the music of our conversations. I never thought about it this way. It's just wild how something as simple as "let's order pizza" can mean so many different things depending on where you are, or even like, who you're with.
Exactly. That's the beauty of language. It's fluid, adaptable, and full of life. Each phrase is a brushstroke on the canvas of our interactions, and when we learn to savor that, it transforms our communication.
It's like an art form. I could talk about this for hours. So, how do we engage with and master this communicative art?
Well, it all starts with mindfulness. Being present in the conversation, actively listening, and ensuring you're not just waiting for your turn to speak are crucial steps.
Oh, like a dance. A conversation dance, right? That sounds fun.
Absolutely. The rhythm of conversation can be just as engaging as any dance. It requires practice and connection.
Wow. I'm definitely going to think of my conversations as dance partners from now on. How do we find the perfect rhythm?